What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's another C6 Corvette video. This time we are finally starting on prep for paint and painting the car in the same video. I've done prep for paint for a car before. It is so time consuming. It is so much work, and it's also one of the most important things that needs to be done correctly when going into painting a car if you want it to turn out right. On my RX-7, that was the first car that I ever painted, and I probably prepped for a week straight. Still probably not doing all the exact best steps possible for that paint job. With the little time frame that I'm working with wanting the Corvette on the road and at events and driving it, I reached out to our good friend Ray to help me get started with prep for paint. So he's the one who's been doing a lot of the paint work and prep work for us around the compound. He did the fade on Adam's car for the new panels. He's painted the E36, and now he's going to be helping me with my Corvette. When we were out of town, both Ray and Tiffany started on prep, and it is behind me. There she is, looking like a dolphin, all smooth and beautiful. Ray even repaired the body for me. So one of the parts I was worried about was the side skirt right here. It was pretty much split completely. It was like that when I got the car and like held on by some zip ties, and it was just getting worse and worse. And unfortunately, this part of the car, it's not something that I can just buy another piece for and put it on. It's actually molded onto the car itself. Ray went ahead and fixed that, so boom. It is perfect now. It's already prepped and ready to be painted. The other side was a bit damaged as well, and now she is totally good. We got some other spots that have been prepped and sanded down. Ray's the best, and like I said, he had Tiffany over here helping him as well. And my car is officially prepped for paint. Also, I'm not sure how many of you guys have actually seen this room. This room is specifically made for body work, prep work, fiberglass work, like anything you need to do. The doors actually completely seal off so that nothing gets out here. I think there's also like a different type of ventilation system in here. This is the first time I've ever used it, but again, this compound was built for doing full restoration on cars, and they had a lot of body work to do, so this was the room that they did it in. I mean, look at these doors. It's completely sealed. I'll show you what it looks like from the outside. These are like some crazy thick ceiling doors. It's pretty cool, actually, and conveniently the paint booth is right there, so this is pretty much the ideal setup for any type of paint work. Because of the compound and this setup that you guys are looking at, that's another reason why I wanted to go for paint instead of wrapping the car. One, I prefer paint over wrap anyway, but a lot of times for drift cars, people will just wrap it because it might be easier to make fixes at the track with vinyl. But I suck at putting vinyl on, and that wouldn't have really been a benefit for me. And whatever color I do paint the car, I plan to have that color put in a spray can, and worst case scenario, be able to do quick fixes with that. Or we have the paint booth is right there. So I can always just bring in new panels or bring in parts that I need to freshen up into the actual paint booth. So that was a big decision factor for me on kind of what direction I wanted to go for the Corvette. Because after all, it is a drift car. It's gonna get beat up. But we have the facility and the proper equipment to make paint fixes as needed. So I'm really, really excited to finally get some color on this girl. Now today we're only going to be painting the outside of it and be covering up the bash bars because I still have to get the bash bars welded right there. Going back and forth between if I want to weld just this really quickly or might just get a whole nother bar for the front, a factory one, chop it out, re-weld it in, and just either bolt on the bash bars how they were supposed to be installed, or weld them on if we want to. Oh, and a lot of people thought I was just gonna rock this no bumper in the rear look from my last video, and I am not. I only kept the bumper off because I thought I'd be doing exhaust the next day. I did not get to it yet, but the rear bumper is over there. I'm definitely putting her back on. Not gonna rock this no rear bumper, like winged fin look there. So do not freak out. I'm putting that bumper back on. I'm still undecided for the front though, okay? I'm undecided. I might put a bumper on. I most likely will. I'm at least gonna paint one to have one, but I don't know. I'm really liking this bash bar look, but we'll see how long I rock the no bumper look in the front at least. Ray's about to be here, so when he gets here, I'll have him talk a little bit more about the game plan for the car today, what we'll be spraying on the car as our first step in this paint transformation process, and kind of what the game plan is going forward. All right, Ray is here, and I haven't told him anything yet about what exactly we're painting today, so I wanted you to talk about that for a little bit.
So this is just to kind of hold you over till that basically we actually do the painting on the car. But this is like a sealer, and I'm mixing it with this paint here, which you mix white with this, it turns into this, which is like a mint color. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing, just to hold it over till it's painted. You know, just kind of make it a whole uniform look on the car rather than spotty primer here and there.
Some people might have been clickbaited into this video in thinking that this is the final and actual color for the Corvette. It is not. Like Ray said, this is going to kind of get me through an event tomorrow and then another event that we're going to be out on the 4th of July. It's actually the primer. So he was already going to have to prime the car and then sand it afterwards, because he preps cars a legit way, not the rushed way that I've done in the past, where you actually spray it the nice way with primer, sand it before you put the real paint on. But if we were already gonna have to put primer on it, he was like, well, why not tint it so we get a color, and the Corvette's gonna already with that look better than it has, since it'll be the first time it's been one uniform color. So I'm excited, and we talked about doing this mint color because I've always thought about doing a car mint. Like it always like kind of comes up as an option. I just never actually could get and pull the trigger. So this is my way of trying out mint without fully committing. And Ray somehow knew that this would turn that color from the base color of that. That was a good guess. Wait, because this is just regular.
Yeah, this is
paint.
just regular paint, regular base coat, and then it's mixed with a primer sealer. So it's just, you mix it together, and since this is white and this is dark, it just turns it like into a pastel kind of color, which is what we have here. So
at first I was thinking of like pastel pink, but I feel like that's too predictable for me, and I wanted to try something different, and we landed on the mint. So it is pretty common. You can tint primers to just help the final coat be easier to put on. But for me, that's not really the case. I'm just doing it because I want to try out a different color. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. Yeah, you nailed it. This is like the perfect mint. And is this fully tinted, or is this what you sent me earlier and you can try and add a little more?
So I could add more, or I could add less to it, and we can make it more green, less green. Like, you know, before I do the final one, you know, I want you to kind of look at it and let me know which one you want to go with.
Okay. Will this dry a little bit darker, you think?
So it's not gonna have any gloss to it, you know, because it's basically primer. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is gonna be like here you can kind of see a little bit of gloss to it here because it's all mixed in the cup.
Yeah.
But once it's on the car, it'll dry like flat. Cool. So it'll be like that but flat. But
I'm excited. I'm really, like I said, I've always wanted to do mint, but I could never commit to it. The primer is basically going to protect the car from me drifting it being on the road, and you already have to sand it again before I go to paint it. So
really, like, it's gonna be sanded again anyway. So
yeah,
you can put stickers on it and do whatever. Just don't hit it.
Don't hit it. I will try not to. Damn, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we should go a little darker?
We can play with it and just see, like, you know, what it turns into. I mean, we can always have more white. We could have, you know, like, so we could just try that.
Add like a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
play with before it starts to change like the properties of the primer?
So this is more or less a sealer. So on a gallon like that, I would probably be able to add that much into it, and it'll probably turn
Be
it
similar?
similar color, yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to add too much either. Then again, it's gonna be sanded, so it's not too big of a deal.
Can we add a little bit more? Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's much greener now. I think that's actually the color.
I think that's it.
I think that's it, yeah. That's much greener.
I like it.
Yeah, you can see the old one was that one.
Yep.
And this is the new one. So I think that might be the one.
I think that's it. Let's go for it. I was telling Ray I hope he doesn't want to kill me because I recently decided that I'm going to do overs for the front of the car, mostly to just future-proof the car. I knew eventually I'd probably want to do them, and True Fiber that I got the rears from makes some cool overs that just look good. In the front, adds a little more aggression to it. I thought they were missing though, so they got delivered about 2 days ago and no one's been able to find them. And then Ray just knew where they were the whole time. I feel like he was dreading if they were for my car or not, but they are. He helped me find them, and we're gonna open them up now and kind of make a game plan. I think it's gonna bring the whole look together, and with the crazy stuff I'm trying to do for the final paint work on it, I think I just want the overs on now. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, I only pulled the back. It's flush. So let me just go a little forward, a little higher up in the front. Yeah, I'm excited about these. I think it's gonna make the car look a lot better. Ray wanted to finish up some other prep and do some test sprays before he got started painting the car. So he's been working on that, but he just texted me and told me that it's spray time. So I'm gonna head over to the paint booth and we're gonna spray the car. I can't wait to see what it looks like. I've never owned a mint car, and I'm going to have one, kind of, temporarily at least. right, it's the next day. The car has sat overnight. Ray ended up doing one more coat of the sealant, and I think I said it was primer before, and I just want to correct myself because it's actually sealant. He did a spray of primer in the spots that needed it, and then he put the sealant that was tinted over the entire car. And I'm looking at it now, and honestly, I love it. Oh my God, I have a mint Corvette. Ray absolutely killed it, and we're just getting started. Again, that is just the sealer of the entire paint process. So he was already going to be sanding that down before we actually put the real color for the Vette on. Now, Adam was already joking, saying that this color is gonna grow on me and I'll end up keeping it mint. I did see mint next to my pink and light pink House of Pre stickers, and it looked so good. And with the bash bars and neons kind of looking good. So I don't know, I might be inceptioning myself to actually want to paint my car this color. The flat like satin look on the Vette also looks really good, which I was surprised about. So let me know in the comments below what you think I should paint my Corvette. Should I do a fade? Like, I was set on what I was going to paint the car, and now I'm just back to ground zero, not knowing for sure. So that is it for this video. In the next video, you will see my newly painted Corvette ripping it on the track. I'm actually headed there right now. That is it for this video. Again, big shout out and thank you to Ray. Ray's actually now fully doing his own thing. He'll paint at his place or come directly to you like we've been having him do at the LZ compound. If you guys need some paint work done in the Orlando area, hit him up. That is it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.